You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And you're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her. Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you. While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her. Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains? Okay. Oh.
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess Princess?
Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like. I'm sorry, I've been down here so long I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name though. Everyone has a name.
Okay, that's weird. She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully you're starting to see that she can't be trusted. Go back upstairs, get the blade, and slay her before it's too late.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly relevant. Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right?
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason. I don't actually know what that reason is, but you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some sort of an explanation, right?
You have all the explanation you need. You should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here for so long.
How long has she been locked away?
Did they tell you how I'm supposed to end the world? I don't know how to destroy the world, if that's what you're getting at.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. I don't trust that, and I don't think you do either, or you wouldn't have come down here to talk.
She has a point. We're talking like this for a reason.
So this shouldn't be about what I'd do if I got out of here, or me saying the right thing to convince you to save me. This is about how messed up this whole situation is. This is my life we're talking about. Do you really think I can even end the world? Why would I even want to? We both know that if there's people we can't trust in this situation, it's whoever locked me down here, and it's whoever sent you here, and those two groups are probably one and the same.
Don't let her turn the tables here. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less. Only making this more difficult.
Thank you, and you won't, I promise.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabinet.
Okay, I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here? You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that. against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, as the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade. Move the blade. As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. Terrible sense of déjà vu. No, you don't have that. This is the first time either of us have been here. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
Our beloved? Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess.
Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works.
We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek.
What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
We could go back and forth on this forever, and it won't get you any closer to doing your job and saving the world. So let's just agree to disagree. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead. The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. That's because there isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't.
I'm sure the princess would tell us there was a mirror if she were up here.
In which case she'd be lying to you because, again, there isn't a mirror.
That's a great idea. We have to make sure we're looking our best before we save her.
We shouldn't waste time preening. If he is lying about the mirror, it might be important. I'm not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago.
And now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight. But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice. It's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already. I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing.
And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before.
That's right, villain, and you killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time.
We damned a whole world. But everything reset.
Nothing resets, you're just somewhere else. And you can't keep hopping between worlds forever. Especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
You died, and now we're talking. I'm sorry. Didn't you want me to?
Did we?
We warned her of the cruel forces seizing our body. That's practically telling her to kill us. She is our beloved, and she made the choice to free us of our misery, to show us mercy and make the best decision for everyone.
She made the best decision for her. Don't be so quick to assign kindness. You're just opening yourself up to manipulation.
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips.
Are you listening to her. That's a confession.
Then I didn't end the world.
See? She didn't confess anything. She is innocence itself. I'm not so sure.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
She took that in stride, to a surprising extent.
That's because she's perfect.
Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do?
She doesn't. There's no one else like me. I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence. Rescue her? What are you talking about? Did you forget that she's a world-ending monstrosity? And even if you wanted to unleash her onto the world, despite the complete moral disaster that would be, you'd have to get her out of those chains. Good luck with that. Don't you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her out with ease. No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. If her hand could just slip out of the chains, why hasn't she done it already? Because we've yet to present her with her freedom.
I'm not sure I follow.
Would you rather believe me, a passionate heart guided by love and my own good nature? Or would you rather believe the devil on your shoulder who tells you what you can and cannot do?
I think I'd rather believe in facts.
Ah, so you're one of those empiricists.
One of us has to be.
Then let me show you a brand new truth. Narrator, we courageously step forward and free our beloved from her bindings. No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll...
You'll what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her?
I would if you had a weapon. Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
You wouldn't.
I would.
I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her?
You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed.
I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved.
Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon.
Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
What do we do now?
Let me guess. End the world? Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world?
You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Are you seriously asking her that?
Oh, we've
win over this one. No, I do not want to end the world.
I just want to make you happy.
I just want to make you happy. I just want to make you happy. Okay, if that's what makes you happy.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're alone right now? Like we're the only ones here? No! She was our perfect match! She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? Is that a mirror? Why is it here? There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should.
Yes, I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
I can't believe she was taken away from us.
The nerve. It is. Does that mean the world ended?
A villain vanquished.
I'm begging you, don't do this.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel. She is part of me, and part of me is her. You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends? I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you? Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. A person, a set of eyes witnessing from one perspective. I think that you are more like me than you are like a person. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us. You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you. Nothing as we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom. More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home. Everything, until we meet again. You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold. How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated. Then we will be here forever, as we are now, unfinished, dry, hollow. I have not lived. I am not afraid to die. She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. You're here to slay her. Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save Princess. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the blade is your implement. You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a stair. Her voice carried.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist. She's so coldly beautiful. Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, so you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. positive. I'm not, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. If she has a weapon, she'll have to draw it before she can use it.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other? Then I'm not talking to you. I guess we are.
For the love of everything, just slay her already. Or drop the blade. Do something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For goodness sake, the two of you can't just stand around like this forever. Eventually, something is going to give, and I highly recommend you charge the princess, blade in hand, but unfortunately your earlier suspicions proved correct. A blade of her own slips down her sleeve and catches you in the neck. Blood sprays from the cut, your severed carotid artery painting the princess with strokes of red. You'd better finish your task quickly before you run out of time. Are you serious? The wound in your neck is too much for you to bear. You collapse to the floor of the basement, rapidly bleeding out. The princess stands over you with an intense curiosity as you fade away.
Oops.
Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. You're here to slay her. It hasn't. Or if it has, if he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's better.
This whole thing's a crock of shit. She's just going to pull a knife out of nowhere and stab us again.
Stabbed to death? And you won't have to worry about that. The princess is unarmed.
Yeah, that's exactly what you told us last time. When we asked you if you were sure she didn't have a weapon on her, you said you were. But it turns out she did, because when we charged her, she started stabbing us.
Calm down. I assure you she has no weapons. So there's no reason to fear her. You were made for this job. You'll do just... A warning. Before you... She will lie. She will cheat.
He couldn't be more on the money. But we're really doing this, aren't we? I'd say
We know what to look out for this time. We know to be careful. Just stay focused and you'll be fine. The interior of the cabin is a jagged mess of warped wood and broken boards. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you... You take the blade from the table.
it feels a bit better to have a weapon in our hands.
You walk up to the wall next to the... What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago.
And now it's gone. Yet another thing in here playing tricks on us. I hate this place.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what must once have been stairs. The fractured slats, the air seeping up from below, has an almost metallic quality to it, like the smell of fresh blood. And you can hear what sound...
That's right, scraping. I told you she has something, I told you.
That sound could be anything. It's probably just her chains dragging across the floor. I am begging you to get out of your head. Her grating voice carries up the stairs.
I hope you've come to rescue me. I've been stuck down here forever.
There is something so wrong with that voice. Yeah, she thinks she's better than us, like she doesn't even have to put on an act this time. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view, her sharp eyes following you from across the room. I wonder if she remembers us.
Finally, somebody! Quick, get me out of these chains. We're not safe here.
Come on now, we're not falling for that, are we? She's trying to trick us, but she can't hide that threatening edge to her voice. If she sounds threatening, it's because her mask is already slipping. She knows why you're here. You are armed, after all.
What are you waiting for? You are here to rescue me, right? Last time, if someone came into my house and tried to kill me and I cut his neck open, surely I would remember that. But I don't remember it, so it must not have happened.
Last time? What are you talking about? Ugh, it's like the two of you are working together on this. Aren't you listening to her? She's obviously lying through her teeth. I'm terrible at spotting lies, and even I can tell something's up here. We can't be the only ones that looped back to the start. Someone else has to remember. Yes, something is obviously up, and we can all tell that she's lying. The thing she's lying about is how dangerous she is, not dimension hopping or time travel or whatever it is you think you're doing.
A knife? What are you talking about? I don't have a knife. Where would I keep a knife? And why would I stab you to death? I don't know you. You haven't given me a reason to stab you to death. It would be so silly of me to cut you open and look at your insides.
Okay, I could have sworn we didn't mention stabbing anyone to death. Sounds like she's really out for blood. Fortunately for you, she isn't armed.
That doesn't sound like me.
I have absolutely zero doubts that she is going to stab us if we get close. She certainly feels threatening. Just because she's acting like she's going to stab you doesn't mean she has the means to actually do it. But you know who is armed? You. So stop second-guessing yourself and do your job. But I'm nervous. All the more reason to jump into the deep end and deal with her right now before you waste any more time.
All sorts of things, which is why I think that's a great idea. I would love to not be chained up down here. Being chained up is so boring, and I crave fresh and new activities to broaden my horizons.
Please don't let her out of here. Believe it or not, I think I'm actually with him on this. Okay, but what if all of this is just a misunderstanding? There has to be room for this to be a misunderstanding.
But we don't have anything to talk through. We're strangers and this place is cramped and annoying, and you should just come over here and let me out.
How many more times does she have to vaguely threaten you before you finally decide you're ready to deal with her? We're clearly still figuring out our angle. We don't have the luxury of watching this from a distance. Oh, I'm sorry, do you think I'm in a position of luxury right now? You're acting like you are. My entire world is at risk. Then maybe you should behave with a little more humility. A bit of self-deprecation would go a long way. No, I have my dignity. Fine, and will continue to treat you exactly how you deserve to be treated.
Of course not. At least not now, because you're here to save me. But you'll have to come close.
I think I've said my piece at this point. I think we all have. But if you want to keep exhausting your questions, it beats getting stabbed to death.
Oh, you don't. Okay, I see. I have an idea. You should come over here and stare directly at the chains. You won't be able to find a key if you don't know what it's supposed to look like, so you better come right within close staring distance just to be sure. Okay, I'm bored now.
She's bored? That's absurd. She doesn't get to be bored. Not in a way that matters. She's a prisoner. She's... Shit. In a sudden burst of movement, the princess leaps towards you, a blade erupting from her free arm, her wrist limp and empty from the violent expulsion. Huh. So I guess she did have a knife of her own after all. How conciliatory of you. We appreciate it, really. Now what are we going to do? At least we're safe here. She's still in chains. And those chains stop her from continuing her advance, at least for a moment. She looks down at them with something between annoyance and confusion. And then she slices through her arm. Okay, maybe we aren't safe here. She doesn't even hesitate before darting towards you with a terrifying speed you can't hope to outpace. Ah, shit! Okay, she's down an arm and we still have a weapon. I guess we'll have to use it. And use it you do. But unfortunately for you, and for the entire world, you are hot. You keep pace with her for a single brief and wordless exchange before she severs your hand and, with it, your only line of defence. She's even better at this than she was last time. Bloody cheater.
I'm going to kill you now.
With a squelch, she does just that. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods. No, fuck that. If we're gonna have to keep doing this over and over and over again, we're not starting in that goddamn woods every time. We're starting in the fucking cabin. You're what? The interior of the cabin is sharp, a constricting mess of curved and battered sheet metal pushing you towards... Wait, excuse me? What just happened? I feel dizzy. Oh ho ho ho! I guess I took us to the cabin, didn't I? Isn't that interesting? Who holds the cards now? The circle's getting smaller and smaller. Running isn't an option anymore. We have to fight. What's the point of fighting if she's just going to win every time? It hurts being sliced to pieces. We're better off just sitting up here and doing nothing. Great, so obviously you've already been here. How many times? This is our third? No wonder things have fallen apart. You do realise that every time you fail, she escapes and an entire world is damned to destruction. That can't be right, that's too much responsibility. I couldn't agree more. We couldn't be trusted with the fate of a single person, let alone the fate of the world. Let's just stay focused, shall we? The only furniture of note is a bent metal table, a pristine blade perched. We take it. Okay, sure, you take the blade before letting me finish telling you it's there. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. This feels right.
We just have to keep our senses sharp.
That's right, we've got to be able to win eventually. And what if we never do? So, are you just going to stand there, or are you going to head to the basement like you're supposed to? I'd love to get started just as much as you would, but how are we supposed to get down there? You walk through the door. You do know what doors are, right? But there isn't a door, it's just that mirror again. There isn't a mirror. You really messed things up, didn't you? It's like you can't even see reality anymore.
I can feel the air coming up from behind it, stinking of iron and steel. He might be right. Could be a trick. If our other senses can't feel it, then we can't trust it.
You make your way to the door at the end of the room, stopping just in front of it. You really must think you're looking at a... Let's just move it out of the way without looking. I don't want to see us. I'm sure we all look awful after dying. Let's just fumble for the handle and be done with it. I don't care what we look like. I care about getting to the end of this mess. Oh. You reach forward and place your hand on the door to the basement. It creaks. And the mirror's gone. How surprising.
It was never there. Just an illusion.
Guess it's time for us to see her again. Just stay focused and you'll be fine. You step forward, but you don't get a chance to linger on the basement stairs. They are smooth and flat and metallic, an unintentional and unfortunately slippery ramp that quickly sends
your body tumbles onto the basement floor, and the form of the princess comes into view, standing at a distance. She gives you a wry smile.
Hi, it looks like you don't have a way out, so I'm not going to play dumb anymore. But don't worry about how bad you did last time. That's part of the fun.
Fun for her, maybe. I didn't like dying all over again. Thinking about dying makes us as good as dead. The only thing that matters is survival. Actually, does survival matter? We've died twice and nothing bad has come of it. We just need to find a way to win once. Nothing bad has come of it yet. Plenty bad has come of it. You've left at least one entire world to ruin. The people there mattered. The past isn't real. There's only here and now. Your internal bickering is cut short by the wet sound of slicing meat. From the princess's arms erupt twin blades, glistening with her blood, the empty flesh of her arms flopping at her elbows like torn sleeves. The chain clatters to the floor. She's loose, and she is coming for you.
You're going to make me walk over to you, aren't you?
Shit. She's coming for us and I'm out of ideas. Yeah, sure, why the hell not? Let's see if we can turn off the part of us that feels things.
I turned that off ages ago.
Pain is good. It's how we stay alive. Nah, I'm sick of pain. Yeah, this whole thing would be a lot more tolerable if it didn't hurt so much.
Sure thing. I love a challenge. I bet I can hurt you so much.
The princess closes the distance and we dodge. And you dodge.
Oh, you're fast. But let's see how fast you really are.
You dodge the princess's blows for as long as you can, sustaining only nicks and cuts as you attempt to avoid her blades. But it isn't long before you're winded, your feet a little slower, your gait a little clumsier. That's all the opening she needs. She skewers you.
Gotcha.
And? Does it hurt? No. Oh, a new one of us. I thought that only happens when we die. Did we die? Your Honor, No, you're in a... Where the hell are you?
I think we're dead. And that's all we'll ever be. Dead, 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 dead.
If we didn't realize we were dead, then we made progress. Good job. Stop saying dead, all of you. We might have died a second ago, but right now we're extremely not dead. This is all horribly wrong. How many times have you been here?
This is 4.
No wonder everything's such a mess. This wasn't supposed to go past 1.
I wonder what you're going to do next. You're so full of ideas, and I love that.
But I guess we don't have time to talk about things before the princess advances. Okay, whatever we do gets us another us. Let's see how many we can stack. There's got to be a point where it makes us better than her.
As long as we keep moving, why not?
It's not like dying again and again is doing us any harm. Let's see how far this little mind hole goes, shall we?
Oh, great. So it's going to get even more crowded. Even more deluded voices that think we might stand any kind of chance.
Come on, show me something new.
We just have to hit her harder. She skewers you.
You'll have to be trickier than that.
Well, there's more of us. Let's see if that helps. Then you skewer yourself.
I thought we both understood that dying doesn't get you anywhere.
Huh, that didn't do much of anything. We're tougher than I thought. Compliment her on those gleaming blades. There's nothing better than a capable woman. She skewers you.
You're cute.
It doesn't matter how many times this takes, we can't give up. Okay, let's go again. Just panic. Flee. She skewers you.
No, you don't get to escape. That's not how this works.
See? We're getting better. Okay, yeah. That was a good one. Let's appeal to her better nature. We haven't tried that. I'm sure she'll listen to reason. She skewers you. We're getting close to something, can't you feel it? One last time. You're right. One last time, that's all we need. None of this is working. Think. Think. She skewers you. And then everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a... Don't lose your head. We're in a cabin, and we'll take it from here.
Everything feels like it finally fits, doesn't it? We're up here, which is different, and different is good.
Oh, what if we throw it out the window? Over my dead body.
That won't be very hard. We've died a lot. But I can't say I mind anymore.
Besides, what better way to die so very many times than at the sharp hands of a beautiful woman?
Sure, I can think of a better way to die.
Yeah, they're all the same, really.
How about we stop thinking about horrible ways to die? I don't want us to accidentally manifest anything. The only thing we're gonna manifest is finally ending up on top. There are entirely too many of you. How many times have you been here? This isn't good. This is... How about you stick to describing things, and we'll stick to doing them? Yeah, leave it to the pros. We'll notch up that win in no time.
Narrator, we heroically stride through the door and towards our destined final encounter with our star-crossed lover.
Fine by me. You walk to the door and onto the basement stairs, only it's more of a slide. We know. Fine, I'll just shut up then and speed this whole thing along. Are you sure you don't want me to describe the stairs, or this room, or anything? It feels like I'm hardly a part of this. Don't care, just want to win. Fine, you make your way to the basement, where the princess awaits you.
You know, this last time I killed you, and you didn't pop right back up again? I thought I'd actually done it. I thought I'd cut you into so many pieces you just weren't able to stitch yourself back together. But I guess we're not done. That's okay with me. It's good even. I like that. I got something ready for you while you were gone. Do you want to see it? I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'm just going to show you. It's worth it though. Just you wait. And not for very long, because
Are you going to say what she does? Do you want me to talk now? Well, yeah, she says she has something new. I want to hear about the new thing. Yeah, me too. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I would like to hear you describe her new thing. Really? Okay then.
here we go. Now.
The princess's skin twists, splitting into red blooms of raw meat as it stretches and tears. Then it erupts. She becomes a wave of blood and viscera, pieces of her splattering against the walls. All that remains in the center of the room is a skeleton of blades. A heart beats furiously in its cage of a chest.
Are you ready for what comes next?
Holy shit! She's gorgeous.
Absolutely divine. Yes, behold the perfect woman.
Do you think we can throw her out the window? That looked painful. How is she still alive? Heart's still beating, that's all she needs. This is fake. This is all fake. That's all just made up. She doesn't even have a back anymore. How are we supposed to stab her in it?
This is all just a sick joke. I hate existing.
We're screwed. I quit. I'm done. Forget it. What just happened? It's so quiet.
Something feels different about you. It almost makes me feel different. Like I should actually take this seriously for once. You're incredible.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again. With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and complicated truths. What I will be is different than what I am, and what I am is different from what I was. I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed. But in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you. There is still much to be seen. Neither of us know the depths of our being. Perhaps at the end of this, I will be the one to kill you. Or perhaps we will leave this place together and find new horizons to discover. Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible. The only paths of value are those that are yet untread. Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them. My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets. This one is a single-minded edge. She is cruelty, but she is also joy. She will make for a piercing heart. Do not mourn her. She is exactly where she needs to be. I'm sorry. Words are difficult for me. They never fully weave what I wish to say. If you do not like my answers, then you need not ask me questions. The vessels you choose to bring me carry far more meaning than anything words could say in the spaces between. If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My waters are shallow and murky, and I yearn for more perspective. You will have your rest in due time, and I am sorry for the burdens I place on you. I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here to slay. Seriously? You're just going to... Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away. Good. What we're being asked to do here is wrong. Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. Your silence is deafening. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say, it seems like the universe itself is doing its best to bring you to... There's always a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making the wrong one for pretty much everyone who's ever lived, as well as for everyone who ever will. And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses, but as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light. In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back to where you need to be.
Wait, what's going on?
But you're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or cabins appear around you, you're just going to do whatever you can to shirk your responsibility because you care more about irritating me than you do about the fate of the world. You've doomed us all, you know that, right? But of course you do. Otherwise you wouldn't just wander off into the forest in search of certain death. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness, but it's not like any of that time spent lost in the woods really matters, because it isn't long before the world ends and everyone dies. You're on a path in the woods. You're here to slay her.
You have already committed to my completion. You cannot go further astray.
You know I can tell when you're lying, right? Please take this seriously. I am begging you. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat.
If we're stuck going in there, maybe we should believe her. Maybe she isn't a liar.
Ignore him. He's just being difficult for the sake of it. Let's keep an open mind. The cabin interior is wrong. A confusing patchwork of many cabin interiors, all projected across what's almost the same space. But it's all shifted. An inch here, a foot there, such that the seams are never quite visible enough for the place to make any sense. The only furniture of note is a plain table, its legs all the wrong lengths, its material devoid of feature. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
If he wants us to take it, maybe we should just leave it to collect dust, or better yet, grab it and throw it out the window. What good is a knife against a world-ending monstrosity anyway?
No, we're taking the knife. Have you seen this place? We have literally no idea what to expect and no idea what we're dealing with. I've already told you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a princess. How many times do I have to explain this incredibly simple and straightforward premise? You can't just say that, when everything here is so wrong. Listen to me. My job is to describe facts as facts and to guide you through your job, which is to slay the princess and through that action, save the entire world. And if you're going to slay her, you cannot let fear creep into your heart. You cannot lose yourself before you even get to her.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. You've piqued my interest. What's going to happen if we lose ourselves?
Nothing, because you're going to pull yourself together. Just ignore the stressful geometry and stay calm. How? Even if we closed our eyes, you're constantly describing it to us. I'm not going to stop doing my job, so you're just going to have to get better at yours. And quickly, if you don't mind.
Yes, take a deep breath. I'm all for getting under his skin, but we'll miss out on loads of fun if we shrivel up into a ball and go insane the first time we see something weird.
What you're seeing here is obviously real. Just accept it and go with the flow. It really isn't hard. Okay, I'm fine. Good. Now, whenever you're ready, we're all waiting for you to complete a very important task. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a web of branching staircases all built from unidentifiable materials. Nothing here seems to belong, and the closer you examine your surroundings, the more confused you get, your head throbbing with the effort of making sense of this place. None of the stairs even seem to go anywhere, let alone down. The air here has a sickening, almost sludge-like miasma to it, the kind of indiscernible quality that comes from the blending together of every scent there is at once. An odour that is simultaneously everything and yet the sum of it all coalescing into a thick, nauseating nothing. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour. Her voice, a disquieting collage of tone and personality, drags up the stairs.
Hello? Hi. What are you doing here? Are you here to kill?
No, thank you.
Oh, don't be such a baby.
I don't want to do this. Let's just turn around and leave. This feels wrong. This feels like a trap. We don't even have a weapon.
But we already tried turning around and leaving, didn't we? And he threw up a wall. No way to go but forward. And whatever choice we make, whatever she is, we know one thing for sure.
And what's that? That the fate of the world hinges on your success?
There'll still be plenty of ways to ruin his day.
You step to the left. The path is cruel against your feet, the impact of each step sending pulsing vibrations up your legs until there's nothing left in them to feel. The air around you grows cold the further you progress. At first a barely noticeable drop, quickly evolving into a numbing cold. Your toes feel like blocks of ice, your breaths puff out in clouds of condensed vapor. You shudder against it as you continue down the stairway, losing yourself in the bone-deep chill. You slowly lose sense of yourself the further you go. Time disappears, and you can feel yourself begin to untether. Physical sensations dull and then vanish, until the only things experienced are the endless repeating patterns and emotions of the journey, a continuous march forward to a destination long forgotten. Consumption and betrayal, skepticism and blind devotion, rivalry and submission, terror and longing, pain and unfamiliarity. And at the heart of it all, an emotion that can only be described as...
Are you just going to stand there?
What the hell was that? What happened to us? I feel so strange. Like I'm fundamentally different, but also still the same person I was at the top of the stairs.
Oh well, that was a trip, but now it's over. Time to get back to our old devilish ways.
The princess, eyes bright but otherwise shrouded in darkness, watches you impatiently from the other side of the basement. Don't forget why you're here.
And why are we here again? In case you weren't listening, I'm afraid I lost myself on the way down.
You're here to... He's just being an ass, we remember. Though I'm still not sure if we should trust you. Let's talk to her for a bit, try and get our bearings. She seems normal.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really. You can call me Princess, if you'd like.
As the princess speaks again, it's almost as if she fractures. And where there was once just one of her...
We can do that?
I don't like this. It's those cabins all over again. Can we put her back?
Again? Have you been here before?
Should we tell him?
Nah, let him stew. Right, I'm telling him. Yeah, we've been here before, but we never went to the cabin. We just turned around and left until...
Until?
It's hard to describe. Until the only thing we could see was the same cabin going on forever. And then you told us that the world ended and we died. And then we woke up, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with all the rest of it.
It seems to me like you saw something you weren't supposed to have seen. If only you'd listened to whatever words of wisdom you were given in that other reality. But what's done is done, isn't it? Whatever you saw last time, unsee it. Whatever thoughts weaseled their way into your head, unthink them. If it's not already too late. You have a new plan. Let's see if we can make even more of her.
And what's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to get under my skin? There must be something wrong with you. I'm the same as I was a moment ago.
She fractures again.
I don't like where this is going.
Neither do I. Which is why you need to slay her now before things get more complicated than they already are. How would we even do that? Where would we start? We would always start by retrieving the blade.
Can we even leave this place? I don't like thinking about what might happen to us if we have to go back through those stairs.
Well, that's where the blade is. If you want it, you'll have to go and get it.
I don't think we're going to be able to put her back.
Kinda hurts to think about it, doesn't it? It's like everything we say just multiplies her. It certainly looks that way, so please, for the love of everything, stop asking her questions and stop stalling. You're obviously just making things worse.
Maybe it's because I'm dangerous. But you know, right? You have to know. You're the only other person I've ever seen. Or at least the only one I can remember. Don't give me false hope. Please just end this already.
Okay, this was fun for a bit, but we can't even really interact with her, can we? What's the point of asking questions if all we're going to get is a million answers?
Can't even follow what's going on anymore.
We need to get out of here. This whole place is making me itch.
What, like you need me to hold your hand and tell you everything's okay? You're not really cut out for this, are you? Why are you even here? Oh, I thought they would send something better to deal with me. If the stairs manage to chew you up, I will devour you. Sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled apart too. It's so terrifying down here. But at least now you're not alone. And I'm not alone either. I don't remember what it was like before I was in this place. Why would I know what happened to you? We're probably stuck down here forever, aren't we? There's no way out, and barely a way in.
Wait, that's not right. Go on. You take a step forward. Your foot lands, but it lands different. You experience a firm footfall, a gentle tread, a confident stride. You can feel yourself rupture. The room spins, your perception multiplying in a sickening kaleidoscope as your very self is pulled in confined the blade suddenly in your hands. All at once you use it to strike at her bindings as you remain upstairs and slay her, leave her to perish alone. Is this what the end of the world looks like? What an unbearable mess.
this... We can't... Do you not have anything witty to say? I could use a good bit of wit right now. No, I don't, because this isn't fun. How are we supposed to have fun if everything is happening at the same time? It's the same as nothing happening, and nothing is excruciating. Luckily for all of us, nothing and everything doesn't go on forever. The world and the princess collapse in on themselves before it all falls apart. I think he's gone. We were never going to salvage this, were we?
What happened to us? What are we? There are parts of us that are dead, and others,
they just don't fit. They just don't fit.
we can feel them moving around in spaces they don't belong. It's all so uncomfortable. Did you do this? Did we do this? Can you pull us back apart? Can you fix us?
We should help her. I think we did this. How surprisingly sincere. I didn't actually think our actions had consequences. It's a little late for regret, isn't it?
Please.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here?
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
Yeah, don't look at it.
I don't like that.
Okay. If you say so. You're not messing with us, right?
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same. I care about your gifts, but I have no preferences to burden you with. Even if I did, I would never dare to tarnish our relationship by assuming myself above you. As easily as you can stand to be you, you are like me, even if you have chosen not to look at the corners of you that do not fit, even if you have chosen to ignore the brilliant contours of your soul. And yet my waters flow and my streets bustle. There are no words that can describe me into non-existence. There is no logic that can bind my multitudes. I am everything that you have known me to be, but I am also none of it. It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent me? It does seem small from here, and the more we journey, the smaller each of those steps will be, but that doesn't make any of them less special. My perspectives are shadow. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done. My roots burrow in an ocean beyond your sight. We cannot harm each other as we are now. There's nowhere for you to be but here. These ones are a contradiction, a winding kaleidoscope of paths and wall. They are stretched into a shape not unlike me, but they will make for a rich and vibrant heart. Do not mourn them, for they will finally get to know themselves. The desires of my multitude thrive in endless competition with themselves, but none of them rise above their dance to influence me. I yearn for what I have always yearned for, our awakening. Other desires shrink in the light of knowing you and knowing me. If that remains your choice when all is said and done, then you may try. But know that I do not wish you harm, even if you attempt to destroy me. The tides do not dictate where they are pulled. A river does not dictate its outlets. My gift to you is to let you choose your path, and my task is to treasure the gifts you bring me. We will know when we near our destination. I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
You're on a path. You're here to... I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds. Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job. Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. While I appreciate the mental exercise we are, nevertheless, let me assure, and before you decide to waste even more of our causality doesn't matter here, because it's no use arguing semantics over, unless, of course. Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse? Oh, if only that were the case, but I don't make the rules. I have to say, I'm surprised at your reluctance. Like I said, I don't make... Are you serious? No, you have to do it. Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end. I mean, maybe some people do, like nihilists, or... Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it. It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a special reward. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hit, then each and every one of us. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all. You make your way up the short path.
We're not going to go through with this, right?
Ignore him. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The blade is your The door to the basement creaks open, her voice soft.
Hello?
It's hypnotizing. Don't let it fool you. It's
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She's beautiful. I am begging you to
Hi.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day.
Okay, I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but there's someone else here. You make your way to the bottom of easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're
I
in.
heard the door slam.
There's a slight panic, right?
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth as she rips her flesh from her bone. It's the blade from upstairs. Or we could you won't like what happens. Without hesitation, you bring the blade down and plunge it into the princess's back. Finally. The wound drives her to the ground. Okay, there's no going back now. I'm with you to the end.
You bastard! Were you lying to me this whole time?
The princess pushes away from you, the motion ripping the blade from her back. Wounded, but still alive, she crouches on all fours in the corner of the room and meets your eyes with the ferocity of a cornered predator.
You've made a terrible enemy, and there's nothing in the world that can possibly save you from me.
I thought we had the upper hand, but it's as if she's barely even threatened by us. It's an act. She's wounded and unarmed. There's nothing she can do to hurt you. I'm not so sure. Don't waver now. As you ready your blade to deliver a lethal blow, she lunges at your legs with the same animal ferocity she used to tear at her arm. Your blade cuts into her again and again as you're tackled to the ground, your body racked with pain as she rips into you with tooth and claw. Forget about trying to rescue her. This is about survival now. Give her everything you've got. Though your nerves are seizing with pain, you know you've done your fair share of damage as well, your blade having left deep gashes in the princess's back. You seize a moment of hesitation to throw her off of you and shakily push yourself back to your knees. We can still turn this around. You steel your resolve and take another step closer to the princess. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can still make sure that she won't make it out of here. Excuse me? What's this about not making it out of here alive? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone in this room is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those gashes and holes pulling you apart? If the princess doesn't do you in here, blood loss is certain to finish the job. You take another step forward, and the princess lunges towards you. The two of you enter one last exchange, a flurry of blade and claw and fleshy ribbons. And then you stop. Neither you nor Princess able to go any further. You collapse on the ground, and the Princess collapses beside you. Blood pools around you both, and you watch each other fade away.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
Silence as the room starts to get fuzzy around you. You've paid a terrible price, but you've saved us all. It's over.
If you think this is it, you're sorely mistaken. One way or another, I'll make sure you pay for this.
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods. You're here to Oh, don't you start grandstanding about morals. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust him. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secret. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say... A warning. She will lie. Don't worry. The interior of the cabin is a mess of twisted roots. The walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf. With the blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. You take the blade from the shelf. It would be difficult to slay the princess and say, well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs. That's not actually a bad idea. You walk up to the wall next... What are you talking about? You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite. I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path.
She must have you confused with someone else. She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation. You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions? Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering. Your task is to slay. Fine. You're the boss. Thank you. You descend the basement steps, entering the dark room below. You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are, one hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
That's no fair. How would she know that?
So, we've dropped the pretenses. Good.
You made a comment back in the woods about having been here before. Now she's acting like the two of you already know each other. Oh no. You've already been here, haven't you? That's pretty sharp. How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it. So, you really don't remember us, do you? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true. I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us? Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. Let's chatter up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where don't talk to her. You're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
Very pragmatic. That is why you're...
Abandoning me, are you? Fine then. Run. Tuck your tail between your legs and scamper away. You might be able to escape me, but you can't escape from what you are and what you've done. If I don't take you, the wilds will.
You turn to leave, but as you do, there's a deep, guttural groan, seemingly uttered by the walls themselves. The cabin starts to get smaller. What the hell is going on? We're getting out of here and saving our skins. That's what's going on. As the roots that make up the walls of the cramped basement attempt to close in around you, instinct kicks in, and you bolt up. The steps are uneven and lively, creaking as they expand out of the dirt floor, the stairway growing smaller and smaller as you dart up towards the light. You manage to squeeze through the door. The cabin is smaller than it was before, and it's getting even smaller and smaller. That's fine. We'll just leave. I'm sure you'd like to do that. But unfortunately, there is no longer a front door. The roots have already closed over the only possible exit. What little light peeks through the holes that were once windows is growing weaker as the cabin continues to close in on itself. Shit. What do we do? As your mind races for an answer, you hear the princess's voice crackle up the stairs.
Do you hear that, you loathsome thing? Those are the roots of the wild, and they're coming to choke the breath from your lungs and squeeze the life out of you. As long as you suffer while you die, I'll gladly suffer with you. Especially if I get to hear it happen.
This doesn't help anyone. I can't believe she'd kill us both just to spite me. See? This is exactly why you were tasked to slay her, and why you shouldn't have left her in the basement. She's an antisocial monster who'll gladly burn the whole world for her satisfaction. The roots grow ever closer. We know. We can see them.
Because it's in my nature. Just like you coming here to hurt me is in yours. It's who I am.
That is extremely not us. We're just doing what we're told, and making the best out of a difficult situation. We didn't even try to kill her. It's the same thing. It isn't. You feel something against your back. A thick root pushing its way into the cabin. An unstoppable, unyielding wall of bark. You're... Shit. What a...
Too late. We're both going to die. We're both going to die a splintery and miserable death. And you're going to hate it just as much as you hate me and I hate you.
You slump to the floor as the roots continue to expand into the cabin.
Ugh, we're never gonna make something of ourselves with that attitude. At least she isn't gonna make something of herself either.
At first it's almost gentle, your body being lifted delicately off the ground as the floor shifts beneath you. But the cradle of the growing roots, the sound of creaking wood is drowned out by the snaps and pops of your bones, pain flooding your senses as you feel your skin
The suffering is what you deserve, you hideous creature. Know as you die that you are hated. I hate you, and I'm...
The pressure is unfathomable. You can't breathe, your vision swimming with red, your head pounding with trapped blood. And then you pop. Everything goes dark. And you die.
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here? I think this is our third? That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're at 3, well, let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things that cannot be grasped. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passion.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do? Why does he want to know? I don't mind where we are right now. It's rather nice. I can hear what everyone is thinking. There's no reason to keep secrets. We tried leaving her in the basement, but she made the cabin come to life, and it crushed both of us into a fine paste. And now, for what it's worth, I'm with him. This is nice.
It was a fitting end. I'm sorry if it hurt, but doesn't this make it all seem so small?
I see. So the cabin ground you into paste, and now you're convinced you're stuck together. What a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together.
I'm not watching you, I'm trying to help you.
That's not an answer to our question.
I don't know what he is. I only know that he is something other, and that he wishes for you and I to tear ourselves apart.
I do want that, but only because it's in your best interests. It's in everyone's best interests. You won't be able to slay her unless you remove yourself from her.
He wants us to kill each other.
I don't. I want you to kill her. Don't be charmed by her faux solidarity. You're not in this together. She's the only one who poses a threat to the world, and she's trying to make you go along with it. You don't have to enable her, especially when you have what it takes to stop her.
We push back. It may feel like he's everywhere, but presence isn't strength. Otherwise, he would have torn us apart by now. There must be a crack in the walls of this prison. There must be a way for us to be free from him.
She's trying to use you. After everything she's done, you should be able to see that. I may not have been around to...
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the doubting and the hatred and the schemes. Not after being something as beautiful as this.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
Spoken like, honestly, a real puppet master. Have we considered that maybe she's the one trying to trick us?
I'm not.
But there's a feeling, isn't there? That petty feeling she mentioned, it is fuzzy, but it feels mutual.
Please, stop. If you pay attention to that feeling, we'll fall apart.
Don't look at it!
She's trying to turn you away from the truth. There's something she doesn't want you to see. I think you already know you have to look at it. Everyone's pulling in different directions, but that feeling doesn't have a motive, it just exists. Maybe we should look at it.
Please, don't make us remember.
And just like that, right, she really does hate us, and we hate her. It hurts thinking about us as a separate thing. What are we thinking? Giving into absolute madness. We exist. We're real. We're separate from her. Of course we are. I don't want to remember what it felt like to be killed. And yet you keep remembering. You remember the loathing and animosity you've shared with the princess, the pain and the anger and the you remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the...
Maybe bygones can't be bygones. I don't know why I ever wanted to share a body with you, of all things. It's like my very soul reeks of yours. That was horrible. This is better. Finally, I'll be able to hurt you like you deserve.
I wish I didn't have to.
Some division, when so, can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole. And then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need to be. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her.
Kill me then, if you hate me so much. Just...
I don't like this. What he wants us to do. It's just cruel. Well, this should be easy. If you're sure about it. I mean, what's the point of being king of the hill if there's no one around to be better? Do we have to do this? You have to. You know you have to. Devious little bastard. If you think I'm going to let you free her, you have another thing coming. It's not in our head anymore, at least not like before. I don't think he can stop us now. I'm not bluffing. You won't be so smug when it happens. He's weak, thinks he can boss us around when he doesn't have any authority.
We're clearly the ones with authority around. You're tired, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm fine. Cut the princess down from the roots that bind her. I hope you're happy. Good luck getting her out of here.
I didn't think you would do that after everything. It's so cold without you.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror. This doesn't feel right. It feels different. It's calling us, and not in a good way. If they think it's bad, I'm with them.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. I am curious to see. No, their minds are empty, existent, but constantly shifting into something new. Do you think your narrator lives in the spaces beyond? Do not look to one who fears me for your truth. The only answers worth knowing are those we can find within ourselves. If I did, I would already be awake. 1. Whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular. These gifts are a conversation, and each one shows me the contours of your heart. The only thing I want to see is what you choose. This one is like a shadow of me, a memory of what she used to be, bound to the wounds of distance. Do not mourn her. She has finally found peace. We are real. Nothing is an idea that dwells in the absence of something, but nothing cannot. We may fight, and we may not, but not all fights end in destruction, just as not all. Even if you destroy me, it will have been worth it to finally know what I am, and to. The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what we are. I will be here, waiting for.
You're on a path. You're here. That's the spirit. You make your way. We're not going to go ignore him. The interior of the blade is your... The door to the base, her voice
Hello?
is... Don't let it fool... Good. You're still listening to reason. It would be better if you had a weapon, but you may. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with... She's beautiful. I am begging you to...
Hi. Okay.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
I don't think I could bear being down here.
Leaving her alive is too risky. So I'm the only one who liked that idea.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. It would make it easier, but if you don't, I can promise that you'll regret that decision.
You have to make a choice. Thank you. You turn back.
Where are you going? Fine. Turn your back on.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She has to be bluffing, but you rush up to the first floor. Okay. If we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm. Its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger? Your eyes dart. Where is she? You close the door behind you. Almost magically, its locks immediately click into place. Maybe they'll open if you finish the job. You step forward to investigate. A trail of blood leads from its jagged stump into it, and then you hear the quiet patter of feet against the floor, and there's suddenly a weight on your shoulders. Her teeth and claws are unnaturally sharp, ripping into your shoulders, digging into your... Holy shit. Are you serious? As the princess... This is the end. I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and... You're on a path in the woods. You're here to... Oh, she will lie. There's a cat. Don't... She could have gotten out of... That's a very... Maybe. The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. The blade is your implement. You take the blade from the table. The door to the basement creaks open. The air seeping up from below is... She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost impatient. Or maybe... You carefully make your way down the stair. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving... The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away. Remember, she is certainly not... You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at...
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the... I'm so much more than you.
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move. You manage to avoid her snapping jaws yours, but you aren't fast enough to evade the hole. It's like being sideswiped by... This isn't working. We don't plan ahead. Act on the now. All that matters is that we're trying, but we have to. We keep...
You're getting slow.
She seizes the opportunity, lunging once again from the darkness. Too tired to think, but we have to move. It's too late. Before you get the chance to react, she makes her last foray from the dark corners of the room, unhinging her dripping maw, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. You do your best to dive out of the way, and you partially succeed. Partially? Yes. The princess fails to swallow you whole. She only swallows your lower body. That's just as bad. That's worse, even. It's death either way. At least this will be a faster end. You look down to see that the dirt between you is strewn with your intestines, trailing all the way up and disappearing behind her blood-stained teeth. Your leg, the princess, bloody saliva dripping from her lips, idly gnaw.
I didn't mean to do that. I still need to devour you. And it doesn't count if you're dead.
But we're not dead, we're... But you don't have time to protest her premature observation of your death, because everything goes dark. You're on a path. That didn't work. We're going in with a plan this time. We're not getting stuck in... Instinct was key until it wasn't. So what are we great? So you've been here before. That doesn't so you know more than you let... Yeah, what he said. Of course I do, but believe me, it's in your best interest. And why is that? Having me explain why would defeat the whole purpose. There are simply some things I'm not allowed to tell. Whose rule is it? Who's telling you to boss us around? We've died twice already, and if you want us to stay alive this time, it's my rule and this conversation. You make your way down to the cabin. So, we've been over the plan. Go to out. What if she doesn't want to? We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And if that doesn't make her any easier, it will. It's always easier to fight what you can. She spent as much time as she could in the shadows. But she's fast. We're clever too. So this time we're not going to let her cut off our escape. We're going to lead her to the stairs ourselves. It'll be a lot easier to deal with her once we can actually see what she is. But you already know what she is. She's a princess. Yeah, a princess we couldn't see. And one that had big, sharp teeth too. How about you stick to describing things and we'll stick to doing our job? Sharp teeth. The interior is dark and overgrown. Vines and brush obscure so much of the place that the only furniture of note, if you could call it that, is a knotted stump. The blade is your implement. If there's a way forward, that mirror is blocking it. What are you talking about? There is no... He isn't tricking us. Can you feel the wind? Then either way we need... Really think being on the steel claw makes us... You step forward. Haven't you been paying... That mirror isn't... It, if there even is an it, is a hallucination. It's so grimy. Maybe we can wipe it clean. You reach forward and wave your hand over the open hole. See? Nothing. Tricks of the eye. No one sense. You step forward into the darkness. If there were once stairs leading into the basement, there is nothing left to attest to their existence. It smells of mold and decay. The damp walls leave streaks of dirt along your body as you're forced to hunch, then finally squat down on. As you crawl forward on hands and knees, you're met only with the sounds of ambient earth. No, stay quiet. The princess leaves you a mark. See, she knows. We have to be like her. I suppose it'll take a little more than words to coax her out. Let's keep going. You put the voices to the back of your mind and proceed down the... The basement is dark and cavernous, a gaping maw threatening to swallow you whole. There is no light here, save for what little starlight has managed to filter down. Stay on your toes. We take a step into the shadows, and as soon as she moves, we jump back, make her follow. From there, we trap her in the tunnel, draw her out of the cabin, whatever it takes to get her out of her element. step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest. Ears, that's right. Keep steady. Don't there. She's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your stage 1. Now stay focused. You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping. Breaths hot and heavy with the effort, but the sounds are coming slower now. The breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below. So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started. Was she? No, she wasn't. Looking at her makes me feel... Yeah, now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all. She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. And she realizes this. Her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel. Her eyes fall from yours. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide, pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help. Now, let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her? Well, I do feel bad. There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can... What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. She is stuck, and you abandoned a perfectly usable weapon right behind you. How about you turn around, get the blade, and end... You turn back towards the exit, leaving her behind. The tense silence of the tunnel is suddenly interrupted by the panicked, guttural wails of a... She is stuck here. Of course, it's too small for her to get up here. But is up here stable? I don't know. It isn't. It's only dirt and stone, and she is very, very big. Hurry! You do your best to scramble up towards the exit, but you barely manage to get halfway before the ground beneath you begins to crumble. Damn it all! This whole thing is just an exercise in futility, isn't it? No words, only action. Keep running. But the tunnel collapses before either you or the princess manage. Everything goes dark and we die? Oh no, you're perfectly fine. You're just buried under literal tons of earth, as is the princess. Why, for the love of everything, did I not think about the stability of the tunnels? I'm supposed... This is all my fault. I was the one who started worrying about this place falling apart. And what, you think worrying made the tunnel collapse? I don't know. Maybe. It was physics. You can't change things just by thinking about them. That's ridiculous. Bickering and bickering doesn't matter, because now we're here, stuck in a dark place, not a place to move. Something shifts in the gloom around you. An eye opens. The wet glint of it pierces the darkness. The princess. At least she's as stuck as you are. Not that it'll do much good in the end. But it's not alive forever. I can smell the end all around us. So the eye stares at you with resignation. A glimmer of regret. Are we going... Good luck with that. You do your best to move your body, but try as you might, this is pointless. Just give up already and die a miserable death with the rest of us. The princess's eye closes in concentration as she attempts, and fails, to move her. We all know where this is going, so... The weight of the world you have destroyed rests on your chest. It both crushes and cradles you, holding your lungs in a stasis where you can never take in quite enough breath for comfort. Your limbs ache, muscles screaming in their locked positions, one arm slowly growing numb as your blood struggles to reach it. There is dirt in your eyes. They fill with tears.
Okay, I think that's enough. We get the picture. Skip to the everything goes dark part, please.
No, not quite yet. I haven't even gotten to the starvation, or the thirst. That gnawing that starts as a nibble, a little reminder that despite it all, you can see that she too feels herself being eaten from the inside. Her gaze never leaves you. You can feel a strain as your parched mouth attempts and fails to water. But even with a dry tongue, your hunger is such that you can't help.
Don't think I'll forget how much you're enjoying this, you sick bastard.
Don't worry, the end is close. Your mind grows cloudy as your blood slows, your chest trying to suck in enough oxygen to feed your starved muscles, your bruised ribs doing little more than bumping up against hard, packed dirt. You aren't even sure you have limbs anymore, and whether the vacant ache where they once were is just the memory of limbs. Any second, you might breathe in one last.
Well, are we almost done yet?
He's gone.
And we're somewhere new. Is this what happens when we really die?
She's gone.
Where did she go? Should we try? And there's that mirror.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Like thin weeks of...
You're right. Part of me wants to...
I think you know what I am.
The narrator. Yes. I suppose that's my job, isn't it? You needed help after all. An objective voice to guide your blade. But you were never supposed to see me. I wonder how many worlds you've damned to extinction to fall this far. I'm an echo. Likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others. Of course, that is by both necessity and design. This construct you're in exists in many places at once. Anytime you failed, anytime you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both your consciousness and hers into another world. But you'll be awake soon. And then it won't be able to work like that anymore. No, I'm not a part. From one vantage point I must seem wholly foreign, but from another, well,
All the versions of me that have existed have collectively heard your every thought and driven your every action. Perhaps they thought that admitting to it would have pushed you to certain realizations that would have made finishing your task impossible. Maybe they were just in denial. I'm sure many of them were convinced that they had to be the first version of them you'd encountered. Anything else would have been too existential. For all I know, each of those other versions of me could have had entirely different understandings of how this construct works. Who's to say which of them are right and which of them are wrong, really? Except for me. I can tell you for a fact that I'm right. She is the shifting mound, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation, or most of it. Her nature is why I had to die, for she becomes that which others perceive her to be. But an echo can't perceive things, not in the way that people can. So I tucked a part of myself into the folds of this construct to guide you. This isn't the end just yet. You can still destroy her and save everyone. You were made to do this single task, and you will still have a chance to fulfill your purpose once I'm gone. Are you asking me to spend my final moments psychoanalyzing you? She wound up a princess, but maybe she needed to be beautiful, important, above you, but on a level you could still approach. A herald of things to come. I don't know. Gods are supposed to be beyond comprehension. I really shouldn't try and anthropomorphize you like this. Because among other things, she is death itself. To rid the world of suffering, to save untold trillions from being lost forever to the cosmic wind. Her nature is to become what others perceive her to be. If you actually knew what she was, if you knew her capabilities, a single intrusive thought could have instantly ended the entire world. If that's your belief, there's nothing I can say to move you. You haven't died. You cannot die. So you can't grasp the abject horror of dying. Well, there's no reasoning with a god. Even one you've woven into existence yourself. I've said my piece, and my time is up. It's like I said, I'm just an echo, and echoes always fade away.
I can finally see you, and you can finally see me. It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly, which cannot be captured. They call me the shifting mound, a pale imitation of what I actually am. Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him, and I know his construct. He was deluded by his fear of death. Pay him no mind. Ever the passive player, always reacting and never acting. But it's woven into your nature, isn't it? When the echo spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes. So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning? Or will you open the final doors to our liberation? Even as your eyes begin to open, you still hold on to the notions of is and is not, of beginning and end, pitch black islands in the blinding light of the infinite. There is nothing to resolve, nothing restraining us but us. My very nature is paradox, as is yours. You cannot use words to grasp at things that are beyond their reach, and you cannot rationalize that which defies logic. But violence and passion are dances that both of us know well. If this is what it takes to enlighten me, then so be it.
You are devoured. Pray for something bigger than you that stalks and slinks in shadows. But we had a dance unfinished, and in the pitch black maw of the earth, you buried me, and I buried you. But even held by root and stone, we continued our step until finally we could step no longer. A sharp pause, a dull silence, a climax, but not a finale. The dance is our only salvation. Without me, you would have starved forever. Is it not? Perhaps you can enlighten me. A web of nerves, lain upon a web of nerves, the shade of a beautiful beginning we can never return to. You knew me, and I knew you, even more than either of us know each other now, and you chose to pull apart that weave. But you did not choose to end me.
were still one, but we were also separate, and we were free. We were as we are. Will you excise that part of yourself now that you see me from yet another angle? You fling into your emotion of pain and suffering. There is beauty in ugliness, and love in conflict. You speak of me as if I am a ghost, but I am right in front of you.
A boundless torrent of blades catching from boundless angles. You are a body. You are gory ribbons. You are a body again. And you feel all of it. On it goes until your bodies are not your thoughts, are not you. Alive, dead, then alive and dead and alive and dead all at once.
You learn to put yourself away, and in your stillness you rose above me. You died countless steely deaths, and you lived countless short lives, and yet it is all so far behind you. I wish... That cold fire has left your eyes. Are you finally willing to listen? Feel the current takes a stake into your body, and another, and another, and another. Do I miss your heart because I can't stand to see it go? Love melted into skepticism, and you pulled back layer after layer after layer, until all you were left with was the knowledge that you did not know me. You sought the truth, but will you hide from it now that it is within your grasp? the design of our conflict that I cannot win? Or are you just that fervent in how you cling to delusion? Nothing is immutable. Everything that is exists only in relation to everything that isn't. There is no constant. There is no center. Open your eyes and accept what we are. We can leave this prison together. It is from my vantage point that I can see the totality of truth. Nothing brings me greater joy than to hear those words. The final peace lies with you. I love you. It's magnificent. Everything, just like it always has been. And